Now it is autumn, and the falling fruit, and the long journey towards oblivion, the apples falling like great drops of dew to bruise themselves and exit from themselves, and it is time to go, to bid farewell to one's own self, and find an exit from the fallen self. D.H. Lawrence, The Ship of Death. For my dear friend, Fred Holland. We talked of trivial things, triviality the only safe thing to say in such a place. Shrouded in white, his face gaunt, his breath rasping. The intimacy of the curtain drawn around the bed made us shy of each other. But pulled back, other patients' visitors stared at us awkwardly. I saw the long zigzag-shaped scar on his chest, the normality of stitching and restitching of flesh, as if it were nothing but an old rag. But I spoke to him of the weather, rather than his heart surgery. I asked him if he read anything. He pointed at a pile of books brought by thoughtful friends who also struggled to fill the silence. He said he couldn't read. It required too much energy, too much focus. I asked him if he wrote anything. He shook his head. I tried writing a letter yesterday, but the words just looked circular and foreign. If I was brave, I would have asked him right there and then, "Are you afraid? Is there anything you'd like me to do for you after you're gone?" But I kept rummaging in my head for something pleasant to say, and had nothing. "Could you check my email? I could give you my password," he said, through labored breathing. "Yes, of course," taken aback. It was a bad internet week for me. My Wi-Fi was down at home, my laptop was getting fixed, and I had one of those flip phones. It was 2009. But for him to want to know whether a poem of his got accepted by an unknown online magazine baffled me. What does it matter now? I couldn't understand it. But I didn't understand what it meant to be dying. I brought more books I knew he was too tired to read. I brought audiobooks and a CD player. I printed out poems I thought he might like and read them to him, while he clutched at one last shot of immortality. Once I told him funny little things my 4-year-old daughter said and did, trying to make him laugh, straining his breathing further. He said, "If you'll excuse me now," and he turned his back to me, and I had the audacity to feel hurt. After he was gone, I found out that he had asked John to read The Ship of Death by D.H. Lawrence at his funeral, and spoke to Pam about his unpublished writing. Had I been braver, could he have discussed something of importance with me? Before his illness, he encouraged me to read D.H. Lawrence's work. To him, Lawrence was a literary genius. He spoke fervidly of his talent. But I was doing my PhD then, and had too much mandatory reading to read anything for pleasure. When I finally made time for Lawrence, I began to see his work through Fred's eyes, the depth of his novels, the complexity of his characters, Lawrence's courage to publish work in a society hostile to his beliefs. I wanted to talk to anyone who would listen about the beauty of Lawrence's books and poetry. I wished I could talk about Lawrence's work with the one person who appreciated him the most.